Thank you, Leon Williams, whose organization does really magnificent work. How we've set this thing up is we'll have short little conversations, 5 minutes each with each of the panelists. Then we'll take 2 questions from the audience. Then the panelists will have a question for you. So it's too late now to flee. And then you will be able to ask a few questions to the panelists, and then we'll have drinks. That's a promise. Ju, to start off with you, because I mean, I think for pretty much all of us here, repression is an abstract concept. So it's something you read books on, and you go to the movies, and you feel very moved, and then you pick up your life again. For you, it is reality.
Yes.
And could you sort of sketch very briefly for those of us who are not aware of your situation, what happened?
I was arrested 2 times in 2009 and 2010. And for the first arrest, my case is already like in the court, on trial. The charge that I got in trouble because of like there's the user, anonymous user, post a comment that been considered violate, like insult the monarchy. That is make me in trouble. And for the situation in Thailand right now, I think we are faced with the kind like the massive censorship in the internet, and numbers of the people got arrested and being charged rising up. Just today, there are a verdict that come out from the court, Thai court, to sentence the Thai a guy named Joe G. Gordon. He's was born in Thailand, and right now he got the U.S. citizen. He been sentenced for 30 months in jail after he already been kept in prison for 6 months.
That's right. Because somebody drew an analogy, said it's sort of as if somebody sends a hate mail and then you arrest the postman.
Yep.
This is sort of what happened to you. Somebody sprays something offensive to the king on your wall, and now you are threatened with serious jail sentences. How many years could they put you away?
The maximum possible that I can get is 20 years, because like they separate the charge as like one topics or one content as a one count. So I got 10 counts.
Yes. 20 years. I mean, how do you sort of deal with that cloud hanging over your head?
Don't think about it.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't think about it, like because if you think about it, you cannot do anything much, and try best that do the thing and defend for the thing that we did. As I don't think I will violate any law, so I still have a chance to defend, and I hope that the crowd that not exist.
That's right. It's because one of your insurance policies is almost to be seen on podiums like this, to try to get into a picture with powerful people, as if to sort of scare the Thai authorities.
Oh no, I think like this is the once when I have a chance to talk, that because like the situation in Thailand is quite severe, and I think this is a way that I can like make the people in the world understand the situation and concerns about this. Because once when I listened to the Secretary Clinton says about like okay, we need to ensure the human rights everywhere, including online. I think that's good that like the online already been mentioned as a one press, but the online in Thailand and online in Netherlands is different. If you surf online in Thailand, it's different from you surf online in Netherlands.
Yeah.
Or in Europe, or in American, in US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very clearly so. So basically the word struggle came up every now and then in some of the speeches. And so we could consider you as one of the soldiers in the front line of the struggle.
I have opportunities for many people didn't have this opportunity because they didn't have a chance to be free from jail. They've been denied to get bail out. So once when I have a chance, I think like this is a chance for me to talk for them and for myself. We cannot separate like if I be safe, but the others in Thailand not safe. I don't know how do you feel?
When will you know more about your case?
Pardon?
When will you know more about your case?
I think the verdict, the trial will resume again in Valentine's Day next year, and then the verdict would come in March or probably April.
Yeah, and so you were telling me earlier that they keep postponing it, and so the rain cloud.
Yeah, it's already almost 3 years. Then I hope that would be end by next year, not longer than this.
No, so 3 years, because you were telling me earlier about how this whole thing started. That you got these plain clothes.
Yeah, I think the situation about the internet crackdown or the threat once when you already surf in the internet or go online is, for me, it's happened like since the coup d'etat in 2006. After 1 month after the coup d'etat, it's my first time that I've been someone to question as a witness. And then after that, I've been someone for like over 10 times to be questioned. Sometimes with summon, sometimes without the summon letter. Yeah, and one time there was kind of like the police came to my family house. That is not my home register. Just want to invite me to talk with their boss without the letter, without the invitation letters. Then it's kind of like the terrifying experience. I have to negotiate that, okay, I cannot go with their car, but I will go on my own car and see them at their office.
Yeah. So real, pure intimidation. Come to a house where you're not living. So they're basically telling you, we've been following you.
I don't know they follow me or not. Usually the people say like you have to carefully about your phone, probably tap or something. I don't know exactly I've been targeted in that sense or not, but it should not like underestimate the abilities of the officer or of the police, of the intelligence, that they can like follow you. But I don't know.
Imagine somebody would find herself or himself in your situation. So somebody now enters the process that you have been in for 3 years. What advice would you give that person to deal with?
Try to be calm, be enjoy, and learning from the thing that happened. Once when I'm in the courtroom, I try to observe the thing that happened. This is my first experience in the courtroom. And learn as much as possible. I don't know. That's the thing that.
Thank you very much, Ju. Maybe an applause for. We'll come back to you later. We'll now go to Tarik Nesh-Nash, and it's a testament to how quickly things are changing. Because when I heard he was living in Morocco, I assumed that we could have a conversation quite similar to the one that Ju was having, because up until very recently, these methods of repression were quite common there too. And then very politely, as Moroccans do, he sort of began to ease me out of that idea. And he said, look, things have really changed. So tell us something about how things have changed in Morocco.
Well, yes, things are changing, but changing slowly. It's a big statement to say they're changing. I mean, first we should, I think, pay a tribute to, the change has taken years and years and years. And what's happening today is just the accumulation of the quest for freedom and dignity that our parents and grandparents have been going through. But something is new today. It's internet. We have this new tool that we are using today for freedom, we're using it for communication, and it's opening up new ways of basically pushing reform through. So that's why maybe I should be kind of, the foolish on me is optimistic, or maybe I'm just keeping hope. But maybe I'll share with you some of the experiences we have in Morocco where internet had an impact on pushing the reforms through. The first experience was a few months ago. We had this decision to change after basically the manifestations on the streets asking for reform and change of the constitution. The government decided to change the constitution, and then we opened the debates to say, okay, let's have a new constitution that is more democratic. So at that time we thought, hold on, let's make sure that the new constitution really is like on the expectation that the people want. So we thought really carefully, and we found there are some issues that we need to think about. First, you know, the referendum game of a constitution is a yes and no kind of thing. And most of the referendums go with a yes. So that's already kind of a lost rule. The second one, when you read any text of the constitution of any country, you find that you would agree with the part and you would not agree with the second part. And it's kind of natural. So we thought what we can do is we engage citizens on drafting the new constitutions. And that was the idea of our website, reform.ma, that we opened to citizens to basically read the text of the constitution, or vote on each article if they like it or they don't like it, and then comment in each article and make proposals about the articles. So that made a huge, basically, buzz on the country, and we had around 200,000 Moroccans reading the constitution and debating about it. And we end up having basically proposed constitution or proposed articles, and we were invited officially by the National Commission of the drafting of the constitution. So we kind of saying that the internet users today participated on legislation of the constitution.
That's right.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest misunderstanding about the internet in a society like yours?
The misunderstanding?
The biggest misunderstanding among Westerners. I mean, you are exposed to Western people.
Yeah.
Can't help it here. You must encounter misunderstandings. What would be the biggest?
For internet or in general, democracy?
About the role of internet in a society like yours.
Well, I think there is a bigger idea that I want to transmit, which is technology and science did make a revolution in all fields. We have a revolution because of technology on medicine, industry, communication, etc. And today we feel that internet and technology will revolutionize the field of politics and democracy. And this is not a problem that exists in Morocco alone. I mean, we have the same concern in New York. We have people asking, we are the 99%, we are not represented. In Spain, we have democracy now, which means the youth feel that they don't have a democratic state, which we thought they did. So I think there are lots of kind of prototypes or lots of thoughts that we thought are already answered that we need to raise and try to debate.
That's right. Good. Well, we'll come back to that later. Our third panelist, Mr. Dijkhuizen. What is sort of the northwestern European or Dutch perspective on all this?
Well, let me first say that if you listen to all these stories, then you get impressed again about the potential power of the free internet, and that is the basic milestone under what we call the open society, which is a society in which everybody has access to all information which is relevant for him without filtering, without censorship, to form its opinion, to communicate about that with all people he wants worldwide, and come to a conclusion that matters and be open on that. We strongly believe in that open society, and the open and free internet is a vital instrument in that. Having said that, the use of internet in the Netherlands is quite, and the situation in the Netherlands is quite different, of course, than the situation in Morocco or in Thailand. We have a different political regime, and in our country, most of the people have internet. 85% of all people in our country have internet, and if they want to, they can have a 120 megabit high power, high capacity solution provided by Ziggo. And that sounds like we are more or less in the ideal situation. And that is absolutely not yet the case. We still, also in our country, have quite principled discussions on, for example, the role of the service provider in internet. We as a service provider don't want to be positioned on the chair of the judge. We don't want to judge whether or not something is legal or illegal. That's something to be done by the Ministry of Justice. And we also don't want to be the policeman. We have quite some discussions about illegal downloading. And the principles of that discussion have everything to do with the question whether or not we will act as a service provider, also as a kind of policeman, monitoring the individual surfing behavior of our customers, checking whether or not they are doing something which is legal or illegal, and then if it's illegal, take measures. That's something which we as a service provider clearly don't want to do. But that is in the political arena still something for quite a debate.
Yeah, that really seems to be an outstanding issue, isn't it? Something that is not yet resolved, who is to monitor and police the internet in countries that enjoy the rule of law. If we would go back to the countries that don't enjoy fully the rule of law yet, first tell me a little bit about the Global Network Initiative, Mr. Dijkhuizen.
Well, I don't think I am entitled to do that, because so far that is an initiative which is initiated in the US. The companies involved in that so far as I know, are US companies, and we are interested to learn more about it, but at this moment we are not yet completely familiar with that, so we need to study it. But it sounds like a good initiative.
Yeah, because for those, do you all know what the Global Network Initiative is? Was I the only one until this conference who didn't know? No, there's at least one person who is honest and says no. So it is a... What does the Global Network Initiative do?
Well, ask the people who are here.
Yeah, maybe. And I thought you wanted to make the case. Sorry, we'll come back to that. Bassem, where are you? There's a microphone coming your way. You have a question or an observation?
I only have a comment about that. That internet itself is not the aim. If me or our dear colleague from Thailand is using the internet for entertainment only, should not face any problem. What I want to say that the internet is not the aim. Internet is only a tool. Which means that if I'm talking about free and open using of internet of all the people, that I can write whatever I want, when I want. I want to criticize or to analyze, because this is a very important issue. And the other thing I want also to raise that, and sometime that the international media or maybe the international organization didn't zoom or focus on the situation. For an example, maybe in Egypt there's like 7,000 people who were injured starting from the 25th of January until now. But how many people knows how they were injured? 85% of them were injured in their eyes and lost their eyes. Some of them have lost one eye, some of them have lost both eyes. This was not a kind of that the forces are against the protesters and they are hitting them and they were injured. The snipers wanted to deliver a message for the people who have the courage to be in the square. Another comment about Yemen, for an example.
Well, yes, but I do want to end up with a question.
Okay.
So, if we could stay on topic. By the way, I totally failed here as a panel moderator by not telling you that Bassam is one of the most prominent bloggers in Egypt.
I only want to raise a point about Yemen, because in Yemen the government or the regime is controlling the electricity, and the people in Yemen have electricity only for 2 hours in the day. It's not only when we are talking about that the people have to access to the internet, and this access have to be fair and secured and safe.
That's right. Yeah. So it's an even wider issue than we assumed. Thank you very much. Before we take your question for the audience, I would like to direct the microphone to Marietje Schaken, who is one of our foremost digital freedom fighters in the country. Marietje.
Thank you. I wanted to think a little bit about the concepts that have been discussed, multi-stakeholder dialogues and a joint responsibility of governments and companies. Because as we are standing here in the Fokker terminal talking about internet freedom, the ISS security conference is going on in Manila, and there are companies who are thinking only about how to repress people more secretly, more effectively. And so, of course, there's a difference between corporations who have an incentive, a reputation to lose, a reason to be here involved in this dialogue or in this conversation. But what can we provide as incentives or as hard measures to make sure that we also include or target those companies that operate completely below the radar, that are Western companies, European and American alike, so that we can preserve our credibility when it comes to human rights in general and internet freedom specifically.
Is there somebody here who is involved in monitoring or targeting software companies that sell surveillance technology in secret or under the radar? Yeah, can I have a microphone? Can you tell us who you are?
My name is Robert Guerra. I'm Canadian and with the Citizen Lab at the Monk Center for Global Studies at the University of Toronto. Over the last couple of weeks, the Citizen Lab has published a series of really ground research where we've documented the use of blue coat technology, both used in Burma and in Syria, with a follow-up report that we did in Burma as well. And we're a little bit different in the sense that we do a lot of reports on internet censorship, but also do technical testing to see if there are fingerprints in terms of the technology, the filtering lists, and to see if that's technology that's being used elsewhere. And so we actually have a new publication that's out tomorrow, but I really would ask anyone to just visit citizenlab.org, and our report is there. And it's been documented that it's not just Blue Coat. There's a variety of other companies that have done this, and I really do say that it was great for Secretary Clinton to actually mention it, that the U.S. says that the Secretary says that that's wrong. It'll be great if they can actually then go after some of the companies that have been identified by other actors to do that. The State Department was made aware, and let's see, the research that we've done, we've shared with them and with other governments, because one thing that's important, if technology from Europe, from the U.S. and other countries that have sanctions, and that is made known to the company and they do nothing, then the force of the state must then use those sanctions to go after the companies as well. So let's see some action, and we do some research, and let's see what happens.
Right.
Thank you.
Naming and shaming.
Yes.
I'm being told that we have not as much time as I was hoping, so I think we need to skip the questions. There is sad neurological reality is that your brain will retain at best in about a year 1 or 2 ideas about this meeting, because you forget everything. I asked a high-ranking Google executive today what animal he wanted to be, and he said an elephant, so I can remember more. So even Google people forget everything, and they are super people. So you forget everything. So if I would ask our panelists in closing if they could write one sentence in the long-term memory of all of you, what would that sentence be? And so I will start with Mr. Dijkhuizen.
Let's make sure that also in the Netherlands, where we don't have these horror stories as you present them, we stick to all the key principles of the free internet. That's something I think we should remind also in this country.
Good. It was a long sentence, but people have big heads. Tarik.
I guess there are two words. Participatory democracy. She basically gets in citizens to participate, engage in public affairs and political affairs.
Good. Participatory democracy.
Stubborn in doubting about stubbornness, still in doubt about stupid or not.
Say again, sorry.
Stubbornness and still wonder this person is stupid or not.
That's right. Is somebody stupid if he's stubborn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's questioning that.
Well, we will be monitoring your case really closely, and I think if some of you are policymakers, and some of you will have moments in the coming months, perhaps to in some way help Jew, and if she risks 20 years in prison, then you can risk a little conflict with your boss. It's really quite, not really an equivalent. I asked, according to the program, Mr. Carl Bildt, the foreign minister for Sweden, was supposed to say something, but Eric Schmid already called him onto the podium. And so I went to him and asked, you are competing with drinks, but of course you can say something. And I think that the whole Swedish nation spoke through him when he said, I will let them have their drinks. So, can I please have a warm thank you applause for Mr. Carl Bildt, who will incidentally speak tomorrow on the second day of the conference. Can I then please thank all of you for your attention. Can I have an extremely warm applause for Tarik, Nesh-Nash, Mr. Dijkhuizen and Jew. Now, it's, I think a lot of topics have come up. I think it's intellectually...
Can I have a last word?
Yes, you can have the last word. When I'm done, Jew has the last word. So I will keep my wrap-up real short. The stakes are huge. At the same time, it's also hugely intellectually interesting to be alive, I think, in an area where we're basically making decisions of how what the internet is going to look like that we will live with for ages. And so we're very lucky. The program says guests walk to drinks, and they will, but not until you have had the last word. Jew.
Freedom seeker has to learn how to deal with the fear management.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Big Tent event. Thank you very much for Tarik, Nesh-Nash, Mr. Dijkhuizen and Jew. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't know, I confused you or not.
The acoustics were horrible.
Yeah.
After all